The 1960s was a turbulent time in America, from the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. to the Cuban Missile Crisis and the March on Washington. It was also a transformative decade for the LGBTQ community. In June of 1969, police raided the Stonewall Inn in New York City. And just a couple months later, there was a pivotal moment in Atlanta. And that incident led to the creation of Pride here. Today in Atlanta, the Ansley Mall Shopping Center is home to a number of stores and small businesses. It's long gone, but in 1969, there was a movie theater here, the site of what some consider Atlanta's Stonewall. Atlanta police raided a screening of the movie Lonesome Cowboys, a turning point for the city's LGBTQ community, much like the Stonewall uprising in New York City that same year. Roughly 100 people were inside the theater that night. One of them was Abby Drew.
That raid made me realize how desperately dangerous people who are frightened of people who are different from themselves can create.
August 5th, 1969. Abby Drew and her friends were in Atlanta ready to watch the Andy Warhol film Lonesome Cowboys at a theater known for screening what back then were called alternative movies.
And it was a chance culturally for Atlanta to begin to experience what would become all over, and I love the city, a broader sense of what culture is and a broader sense of how much there is to learn.
Things were going well.
And the lights go on and there's a whistle blowing and I'm thinking, what's going on? And this nice fella in front of me said, "Girl, we're being raided." I said, "Very funny." And with that, he said, "You can laugh, I'm leaving." Over a couple of the seats, and there was a side entrance. They ran. Most of it was a lot of gay men.
Atlanta police officers were raiding the theater. The audience was lined up along the wall, made to hand over IDs, and frisked.
They put us up, and they had cameras, 1969, where the cameras with the flash bulb, pop, pop, pop. And they made us to stand there, pop, 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 and take our pictures. And then they wanted to know where we lived.
Drew and her friends had their photos taken that night. They were given court dates, but their records were eventually expunged. Many others were arrested, shamed, even outed.
It was outrageously unkind. Let's just say it was also just immensely cruel.
That night became the birth of a movement.
It was the beginning of what would be the Gay Liberation Front. They were going to do a march. And by 71, I was here, and we marched on the sidewalk.
That 1971 protest is considered the start of Atlanta Pride. The city didn't approve a permit, so marchers stayed on the sidewalk.
And every time we got to the edge of this thing, if there was a red light, we had to stop. And when it was green,
keep going. So we took a walk, too, through the Atlanta History Center to see what that resistance looked like.
For example, these are materials, photographs taken during the 1982 Pride March.
Wow. The first official Pride in Atlanta was in 1972. By the 80s, the AIDS epidemic turned Pride into a large-scale citywide event rooted in advocacy and resistance that continues to grow.
Well, the collection comes from everyday Atlantans. And their photographs and their memories. And that's what I think is important to know, is that people create their own history.
Their own history and their future.
So the Ben Marion is known for KEF, kindness, empathy, fairness. Kindness, empathy, fairness.
Abby Drew hasn't missed an Atlanta Pride. She will take you by the hand to tell you about it and show up the site of the social justice nonprofit she's been running for over 20 years, dedicated to equity and education.
The Ben Marion Institute.
Drew committed her life to activism before the Lonesome Cowboys raid, but that night cemented who she was always meant to be.
It's our motto: when the box you're thinking in is too small, maybe it's time to think outside the box. Every year, there'll be youth that will come in. And of course, with my Ben Marion, I care in general about people being able to know that they are, again, enough, that they have all it takes.
That might very well be the definition of pride. Abby Drew, thank you so much for doing that interview with us. The Pride Parade kicks off Sunday at noon from the Civic Center MARTA station. It's going to go up Peachtree Street through Midtown and ends at Piedmont Park.